Hey beautifuls, Hannah here from Reality Awareness. I'm wanting to share a little bit on this shedding and the magnets, and I've had a bit of a update on the black line that I saw for 2024. So when we're looking into the future and I see that black line, I didn't really know what that means. And hey, we still really don't until we get there. However, as more information comes through, of course, I'm going to share it with you. Yeah. So let me just share this live stream and then we shall start. So, hey beautifuls. All right. So let me know if you got any questions about this topic as well. I have shared this, what I'm about to talk about with the shedding, in my reality awareness Telegram group. So if you're not in the reality awareness Telegram group, there's a reality awareness support group in Telegram. So you can also follow my channel on Reality Awareness there. So some of you might have heard what I'm about to say, but I actually haven't shared the piece around the black line update, apart from a couple of clients. And I was like, you know what? I need to share this publicly. So let me just, as always, share this, and then I'll be present with it so that I can concentrate for a minute. Hang on. And thank you, Alina, about my hair. All right. And one more. Okay, we're good. Oh, and this little Renault obviously wants to come in every live stream that I do now. Milo, oh Milo. He's such a big boy and he's only like, I don't know, what are they, 6 months now or something. Tattoo license, yes, so awesome. All right, thank you with my hair. Yes, Pisces, with the move into Pisces, yeah. So Joy says that she feels like death today. Simone, hi Simone. Oh, now I've got cat hair in my eye. Oh my God, seriously. It looks peaceful there. It is really peaceful. If you've seen on my story, I went looking at properties and I'm like, you know what? Check out this place. Check out this place. It is really beautiful. The weather's been amazing here the past couple of days because of apart from the storms, but then it turns out like this the next morning. Kirsty has lost her nan. Okay, yes, and you're totally lost. Yeah, that's a very normal feeling when somebody that you love has passed away. So I would be making sure that you can bawl your eyes out crying as much as possible. I would also be reaching out for support. So if you don't have a mentor, please get one. That is what I do with people, especially helping with grief. So if you'd like to book in, of course I can support you with that. Other than that, it is like bawling your eyes out crying. Like you should be feeling lost in a sense of like you should be bawling your eyes out crying. Like that is a very normal human response to having somebody pass away. That you should be doing that if that makes sense. And if you're not, you're going to be like even more of a mess. The best thing that you can do for yourself right now is bawl your eyes out crying, right? So yeah, you should be doing that. And it was her birthday yesterday. Beautiful birthday blessings. She passed to the other side. Yeah. Black line doesn't sound good. Okay, let me explain this, yeah? Yes, so awesome getting your independence, Alina, and that's what you wish for in Transcendence group. I was thinking about that, Transcendence actually this morning, so I think I might jump in there and have a look because not just in Transcendence Reality Society, we actually ran Transcendence as a 6-week course, so slightly different. And it was all about manifesting. And it's interesting that you shared that, Alina, because that's been on my mind this morning. So I'm going to check that out. So yeah, Kirsty says she was the foundation of us all. Yeah, so that is like a big energetic structure falling away. So, you know, if anybody is feeling lost and feeling like everything has just fallen out from underneath you, they're very normal feelings at the moment with the current energies, with the current planet lineup. So it's really important that you support yourself. If you need to be in bed all day, do that. If you need to howl your eyes out all day, do that. If you need to just take time for yourself, please do that. It's so important. And if you can't because you have to work, plan that in for when you get home, plan it in for the weekend, like make it happen. Okay. So I'll do some other live streams over the weekend. So what I want to talk about today, hi Leanne, is this shedding and the black line update, and also the magnetism of the stuff. It's kind of interesting. So, oh, and Stars just wanted to say hello too. He's a fluffy one. Oh, you're looking straight at the camera. Of course you are, because you're like the most regal cat. Oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. So, yep, here I am. So, okay, so what I mean about this black line. So, in January, I was going to do like a monthly update of what I, you know, what's going on with the planet and the, you know, all the COVID stuff and the vaccine stuff. And you know what, after I did that first update, it was like a 2-hour update. So if you haven't listened to that update, and I say it's an update, but it's kind of a reality check on this situation in the world, on the COVID situation, on the vaccine situation. And after I did that 2-hour long piece explaining everything, I was like, it wasn't alive for me to, I want to say keep talking about it, but that's not where I'm coming from. It was more like, that's all I need to say about it at that point in time. And when I get the intuition to share stuff or do other things, well, of course, like here I am, okay? So if you haven't listened to that and you'd like to, it's a 2-hour, I think it's 2 hours long audio. Can listen to it multitasking, as with any of my videos or any of my updates or anything at all. You don't have to sit here watching me on the screen unless you really want to, right? If you can, you know, multitask listening while you're doing the dishes and earphones, or, you know, like there's ways to make use of your time, right? So, so no more masks if you got the vaccine in the US. Oh, that's interesting. So, okay, so what I want to share is with number one, the black line. Let me explain that. So when I did that energy update, or the world global update, what on earth is going on, it's called. So if you haven't listened to that and you'd like to, please comment update in the comments, and I'll get my team to send you the link to be able to listen to that. So when I was tuning in, got the intuition, and was looking at the black line, or, you know, looking ahead over the next 10 years, right? And intuitively feeling into it all, 2024. It's just my dog having a drink, if you're wondering what that noise is. 2024, if I look at a timeline of the next 10 years, is a black line. It's just black. Interesting, James, you say 2024 will be in the new earth by 2024. So what I'm about to say might scare you, and this is not what I'm sharing this for. What I am sharing it for is for all of you that watch this, that listen to this, is that you are a healer, you're an empath, or you wouldn't be watching anything on Reality Awareness. You have an important purpose on the world. In some way, shape, or form, you are conscious, and you are here to support humanity as we go through this massive transition, awakening, and stepping into a whole different frequency that the earth has never seen yet. Now, the other piece to that is that I saw it as a black line. Now, number one, Pam Gregory, pretty sure it was her, said, New Earth isn't a place, it's a frequency. New Earth isn't a place, it's a vibration. I can't remember her exact words, but she said something like that. And I'm like, yeah, it is. New Earth isn't a place. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. It's a feeling. And that feeling is available to us all right now. Now, if you're in like the lowest place possible and you're like, Hannah, I do not feel that, right? Yeah, Simone says you're not a healer, you're a warrior. Okay, ancient blooded healer, empath, psychic, intuitive, warrior, whatever label you want to put on yourself, you are here to change the world in some way, shape, or form. You're here to help awaken the consciousness. You're here to help the unconscious people become conscious or support them in some way, shape, or form. So use whatever label that you like. Now, New Earth is in a place, it's a frequency, it's a vibration, it's a space energetically that we hold inside of ourselves. It could be our heart, it could be our base chakra, it could be your whole being, okay? That's irrelevant to the point that it's a vibration and a frequency that you hold. That is what heals other people. That is what shifts people. That is what supports people, right? And yourself, by the way. Now, the black line of 2024, I didn't really know what it meant. I was like, because I don't get shown everything. I get shown everything when I need to be shown it. Now, this is only my logical putting together, by the way, okay? And I hope to God that I'm wrong. Yeah? I really do. Originally, I thought 2024 was maybe going to be like a world lockdown. Maybe it's like when the financial collapse actually happens. You know, my logical mind was like, well, it could be this or this or this, right? About 2 weeks ago, a week ago, yeah. Lisa says if this planet doesn't make it, none of the other planets will exist either. Yeah, see, I don't feel like we're going anywhere. I feel like that's not what it's about. Like, you know, but it is a vibration that we hold, this new Earth, right? I don't think we're going to get obliterated and blown up. Like, I just don't. Like, maybe in another 10,000 to 10 million years, maybe, but not now. That's not my vibe of it. And hey, maybe I am wrong, okay? So always trust your intuition over anything that I say, because you're just as psychic as me. You just don't trust yourself enough, okay? So back to the black line. About 2 weeks ago, I think it was about 2 weeks ago now, I heard, and maybe some of you guys have seen this or heard it or read it, that apparently, now I'm saying apparently, because there's always so much propaganda out there, okay? And as I always say, trust yourself over what I say. Trust yourself over what you see on TV, over what you see on social media, over what somebody sends you in a link, over trust yourself over it all, okay? So important. That's my disclaimer. I heard information that said something along the lines that, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Trust yourself. Someone said to me that the person who, I don't know if it's invented or created the Pfizer piece, right? Just mindful of my words, was a scientist, of course. And apparently that scientist created it for the military, not really knowing what he was doing. He was doing a job for the military. Then he finds out what it actually is for. Apparently he has become a whistleblower. And apparently, he said, if you're still alive in 3 years, like, these are not his words, don't quote me, it would be a miracle. Something along those lines. And I'm like, 3 years, huh? That's 2024. Like, oh. Now, a lot of the big infiltration of the V's actually even happening started this year. Like, I'm sure they were around before that, but when it really started influxing, and I did say at the start of this year, I said be mindful of like by May, June, because apparently someone said 6 months is when the effects start to kick in the body. And I was like, cool, let's keep an eye out and intuitive feel out May, June, which is now, and over the next 6 weeks, because even if things don't really happen, even though there is a lot of people passing away from it, what's happening in the physical body is change. It's changing the cellular structure, it's changing the DNA structure, it's changing a lot of the structure already. Now that might not be affecting anybody. Who really knows, right? I'm going to talk about the shedding in a moment too, right? However, what is happening is that something is happening. Something is happening. Who really knows and can pinpoint it? Like, honestly, that's like trying to pull a psychic piece of information or a piece of energy out. It's like, well, I say that this is this. And it's kind of like, who actually really knows? And this is why I always say, trust intuition over what I say, what anybody says, what you read, whatever. The only thing you need to trust is what it feels right for you or not, okay? Always. So important. So with what I say with that is that, sorry, my cat's distracted me. So something is happening, okay? Exactly what? I'm sure there's people that are going, oh, well, this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening, Hannah. And it's like, yeah, sure, right. Like, okay, cool. That could be happening, okay? Maybe it is, right? I don't doubt what they're saying. What I am saying is that something is happening. Now, that something that is happening is changing the energetic structure of this person. And every single thing and being and person and physical hard thing, my wall, I'm banging, is also energy. That is changing everything because we affect everything around us and everything around us affects us. To what extent things around us affect us depends on how much we strengthen our inner self, and our protection of our self and energy is what protects us, right? As I always say, and I teach this deeply in Trust Intuition, that nothing and no one outside of you can affect you unless you let it. Okay? Sorry, let's move this because of my animals. Okay. So nothing can affect you, okay? But you have to be strong enough. You have to do the work. You have to, like, it's a thing, okay? And I teach this so much in Trust Intuition. So, all right, so where am I up to with that? So something is changing, okay? So even though there's big astrological events, even though there's big energy shifts in the cosmos and blah, 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 we also have the planet and the Earth's energy. We also have all this change around what's happening with people that affects the collective consciousness, that affects the web energetically that we are in. Now, when we are in an environment that has a lot of people that have had the V or whatever, like it's gonna be, I want to say, harder to keep your energy strong than if you were away from it. So for example, you know, and whether this is true or not, I don't know, but I'm just giving you some examples, okay? Tune in for yourself. For me, for example, look where I am, okay? It's not going to be as hard for me as if I was in downtown, busy city, whatever, where it's really like intense and dense and everybody's getting the V or everybody's sick or whatever the story is. Like, I'm going to have to work harder at being conscious of my energy and all of that, for example, okay? Now, I'm sharing this because this is so important. It doesn't mean that you will be affected by it. It means that you need to work harder at taking care of yourself, at strengthening your energy, at being so mindful about who you're communicating with. And it's not that we don't have to talk to people, but, you know, it's like we're just conscious of our energy, of who we're interacting with, of whether we're in a fearful place or whether we're in a beautiful nature setting that we just can breathe out for a minute, okay? Hence why your self-care is so important. Hence why energy work's so important. Hence why all those things that are going to strengthen your energy and do all those things to make your chakras alive and your energy strong is like now is more important than ever. Yes, there's physical supplements we can take. Yes, there's all these things that we can take. But if you're missing the energetic piece, none of that stuff's going to work. Right? Because at the end of the day, in the quantum field, everything is energy. Even this piece of air that I'm holding here has a molecular structure of some sort of energetic. It's just a lighter one than the dense grass down there, for example. Okay? We have to remember this. Let me check these comments and then I will... Can you sit on your bed, please? I'm going to step on you accidentally. Just going to check these comments, then I want to keep talking here. Of course, I want to keep talking. Okay. Okay, here we go. Going through an awakening, yes, definitely. Humanity's always been awakening, but we're at a real kind of like, everything's going to shift in a minute. We're at like a critical point sort of thing. Kylie says, I feel it built to kill people's spark out of our individual godlike creation. Yes, yes. I'm also a big believer that if you have had it, you can also transmute anything. You just have to work harder. Well, I don't know if work harder is the right belief system, but I fully believe we can heal from anything. I fully believe that we can shift anything. We can transmute anything. We can transform the biggest, darkest thing ever on the planet. Like, I'm like there. I fully believe that. Whether somebody can also actually do that depends on their belief system, depends on their strength of will, depends on the practitioner they're working with, depends on people around them, believing in them or not, and supportive or not. Like, all those factors come into play, but I personally believe we can shift and transmute and heal anything, no matter what's in your body. I'm a sole believer of that, because nothing outdoes the strength of God's will, of the universe's will, of your soul, or nothing does that. And I hope that this is activating something within your cells right now, that remembrance of your soul in your cells, that nothing can do that. Nothing can override that. It's only if you let it. And that's why your energetic practices right now are so more important and needed more than ever, especially as we go into this eclipse coming up in 2 weeks, right? It's intense right now. You must be doing your energetic practices. If you feel like shit, you need to be able to take care of your energetic self more than ever. And of course, physical and all that, but you know, right? So important. And he says, yes, trust intuition on what's right for you. Yes, I have had to pull myself out of society and mainstream and ask myself what is right for me. Yes, sometimes we need to energetically, physically take some time away to recalibrate, get clear. And sometimes we need to do that on a moment by moment basis as well. Yes, they don't want uniqueness. Yes, you're amazing, I know. Feel normal meeting you at all. Yes, lovely to have you here, Lisa. Yeah, not getting it. Been waiting to see how this affects others. Don't feel right. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. Yeah, April. And yeah, it's, you know, again, it's trust your intuition. Yeah, and I'm not judging the people who have got it. I'm definitely not. You might have seen me share a post of a woman a couple of weeks back, and it was her, like, she was like, I'm not scared of this. She's like, whatever, like, this is my belief system. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. This is what I was just sharing then around, you know, like, even if you get it, it's your strength of will. It's anything, you know, it's, I guess it comes from the concept of, what is it, like the Buddha that drinks poison and doesn't get affected by it. Like, that's where that is stemming from. But you must have that solidary sense of belief in yourself. Hence why I always say trust your intuition, right? Because if you got that level of doubt and you're doing it because, oh, well, they said that I could, like, yes, you can shift and grow, but I would definitely be working with that person. I'd be in their energetic field. I would stay with them until it's over. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, but you must be around the people, and unless you feel confident in yourself to do it, of course. But I feel like the support around you is so important. Yeah. Yeah, I need to learn more about centering myself and work on my energy. Yeah. So, my Clear and Activate pack, right, is free. It's on my website. There's 4 meditations in that pack, and they're really powerful. It's one of my latest ones. Sorry, my German Shepherd decides to sleep right next to the stand. It's like moving around. So they're free. So they're on my website. If you go to realityawareness.com, and it's the first like pink button that you'll see just down the page a little bit. You just exchange your name and email. It's a free pack. And then you can log into my members website, or on the confirmation email that will go, sometimes it goes to spam. So if you don't receive that within 15 minutes, make sure you check your junk box and stuff like that. If you don't receive it, send me a message, let me know, we'll sort it out. But the email itself has all the meditations on it, and you can start listening straight away. I do encourage you to make sure you log into my members website, which you'll get access when you sign up. And that way you can go through the training videos. Now, the training videos are not that long, but they're there for a purpose, and they give you deep insight about why we do that meditation, how to use it while you're doing the dishes, for example, right? I'm so passionate about making this work in your everyday reality, because then you have no excuse. You do not need to sit there like Buddha and Om and make time for it, okay? Because we can multitask, and whilst doing the Oms and sitting there with a dedicated, disciplined practice is really beneficial, Not everyone can do that to start with or will start doing that. And that's why I'm like, okay, so I'm going to make it work while you're doing the dishes. You can listen multitasking. There is no excuses, right? I'm so passionate about making this happen for you, okay? Hence, it's also free. So when you log in, do make time to watch those videos. And hey, you could watch it on your little screen while you're on your device, while you're doing the dishes too. Like, again, you don't have to sit there and watch the screen, like listen to me at least, right? I just want it to be able to work for you. So in those training videos, it's like why we use the meditation, how to use it, multitasking, or the disciplined routine to sit down and do it as well. You know, deep insight into each individual meditation and why and what it's helping our empath abilities, our psychic abilities, our strengthening our intuition and our energetic field. I feel like when we have that understanding, it goes into a deeper level and layer of your being. So it enables you to solidify in and also enables you to ground in, have a stronger energy, and then you're also getting best out of the meditation. So definitely work with that if you don't have that already. So it is on my website, realityawareness.com, and then the clear and activate back button will take you to that pack there. It feels almost if you have a photo behind you. It is grass. See? It is grass. Sorry. Yeah, it is my place. Yeah, it is beautiful. Yes. All right, so what have we got here? So Annie says, if everyone was connected to their own intuition and what they needed to do for themselves, we wouldn't have a problem. It's people sticking their nose into other people's business. Yes. And then people don't trust themselves because of that. So yes, exactly. Exactly. All right, Simone, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Yeah. Forget about their immune system. Yes, they sure do. They sure do. All right, just checking these comments. Okay. What about when you can channel source? When working in the light, many have a direct connection to source when you raise your vibration consciousness. Yes, and so I'm passionate at Reality Awareness about teaching you, and that is what all my content, videos, meditation courses, all my content is designed that when you can channel source energy, light, direct connection to source, that's actually the vibration that you start embodying all the time. We are not ever separated from that connection. It's only our conscious awareness of that connection that goes unconscious. That's it, right? So when you look at, you know, when you say, you know, you have the direct connection to source, you can raise your vibration consciousness. It's like, yes. And what I train you to do is through all the meditations, and the purpose of all the meditations, even though they're all slightly different and for different reasons, they're activating you so that that connection is all the time. There is no like sitting down and omming and then I get off my mat and then I'm disconnected. Like you're still connected. That's why you feel someone's text message, or you think about them and then you get the text message or the phone call, or you're like, oh, I just knew that was going to happen. Like that doesn't go away. And so reality awareness and the awakening consciousness of humanity is about bringing that clarity of that connection, and so that you're never confused or, you know, meshed into, you know, all that things. So you're always conscious of the connection. That in itself strengthens its energy. It's like what I said on the other live stream the other day around consciousness itself heals you. The conscious awareness heals you. Like when you have a conscious awareness of something, it's like, that's what that is, you know. And of course there's always a time for deeper work, but that conscious awareness in itself, that shifts you, that heals you. It's like, you can start to breathe out again, right? You're not confused anymore. All right, just checking these. All right, so just checking these comments. So I'm seeing your comments. So I just consciously aware of staying on topic for this moment for this live stream. DNA, light language activations, there's many things we can do for sure. Nature is medicine. It is. People have lost their ability to be discerning. Real food, oh my goodness, my words today. Real food, yoga, and sunshine, 100%. I was up at 3 a.m. for a training, but that's really no excuse. I'm just saying. Interesting that Chiron says himself and team are lowering the magnetic fields around the earth, which is allowing in more connection to source as they put magnetic substances in the jab. This is so freaking interesting. I almost listened to Chiron update this morning, but Chiron, but I didn't. Yeah, that is so interesting, isn't it? And the magnetic substances, I just personally believe that's nanotechnology. Like, that's just what it is. And for me personally, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've eaten enough nanotechnology in the foods that they put in, whatever foods they put in the chemtrails, in all the things. Like, I don't need to insert that into my body too. Thank you. I'm pretty sure there's already enough in there. You know, and I just say that because, like, there's no way we can really escape it. And this is why strengthening your intuition, strengthening your energy field, taking care of yourself, it's like basic self-care, is the thing that's going to transform that from you. So yes, the energy, recalling your energy meditation is powerful for sure. I love that you did that. Okay. Let's have a look here. Yes. Yeah, definitely grab that Clear and Activate pack. It's very powerful. And yeah, definitely go through the training videos because it definitely will help you. Yeah, for sure. Yes, interesting, Kylie. So you said, I have a huge feeling something is going to happen, like the same feeling I had in 2018 and 19 when we had the floods and bushfire, the floods again, and then COVID. Yeah, I've been getting that feeling too, maybe that's why I'm doing this talk on this right now. But I don't, like in June, and I know there is some big planetary shift around June as well. I know we've got the eclipse on the 26th of May, I think it is, off the top of my head. So that's gonna be big and like truth revealing. Like, I feel like something will drop out from underneath us. It's already starting to for some people. And what that dropping out underneath you is that old reality has dropped away. That is a reality that maybe wasn't for you, or, you know, wasn't in alignment with your higher self and your life purpose. And it's like everything is just like recalibrating and very fast as well. So allow the changes that come through for you when they come through, and really, like, it as hard as it is, and sometimes we want to hang on to things that are just not in alignment anymore, or they might be popping up and it's like, does this really serve me? Is this, like, how do I feel in this situation? And that would be your big guiding post. But yeah, keep trusting that those feelings. So yeah. Am I in New Zealand? I'm in the Noosa hinterland in Queensland, Australia. So it's about, well, Noosa's about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours north of Brisbane. So yeah, in the Noosa hinterland. Yes, Australia, Queensland. Yes, the shedding, thank you. Was that why we should be blocking and protecting? Yeah, so I haven't talked about that, so we're moving on to awesome. So it's time to talk about that. So just checking. Would your videos be easy for children to understand? Yes, definitely. So I always say, any like meditations that I teach you or spiritual stuff, like, yes, please show your children. I don't want that to be forced on them though, only if they want to, of course. Things like the past life meditation or a generational healing meditation, I wouldn't do that with children unless they've been meditating for years, okay? You'd want to start with like chakra clearing, energy awareness, aura clearing, you know, meet your animal spirit guide, or, you know, an animal activation, or like there's a meet your star being guide in the free meditation pack, in the, what is it, the Clear and Activate pack. I do have 2 meditation packs. There is the free meditation pack, which has different meditations in it. Again, that can be found on my website at realityawareness.com. And if you scroll down the page a bit, you can see, you can go to audio meditations, and there's all my free and paid meditations are all kind of listed there. So that's the free essentials meditation pack. There's other ones in there that you can definitely use for children, but yeah, definitely, but you'd want to stay away from the deeper ones. Shadow work you could do with your child, again, depending on, like, if it's the first time you're introducing them to something, I wouldn't do shadow work with them. But I would definitely start getting them to understand their chakras, their energy clearing, their animal spirit guides, like that sort of stuff. Like, yes, 100%. Not sure if it's going to be a big shock for some. I've worked heaps on just staying with the flow, but still feeling it. Yeah. Yes, that's the insecurity you've been feeling, the bottom dropping out. Yeah, and so if you didn't watch my live stream, oh, it must have been last week, it was like an energy update or something. I think I called it. Like that's the energies at the moment. And I feel like when that happens, what is actually happening with that is that, like, I mean, as I always say, who really knows? But energetically, it's like we're shifting up a notch, you know, like, and when we talk about the new earth, what's actually happening with the new earth, it's like it's an energetic shift to a higher frequency, a high level consciousness. It doesn't mean that we're separating away from it. Like, if I could describe it, what I feel is actually a sphere, and so we've got the earth, and then there's like let's say there's like pulsations of spheres that come out of the earth, for example, right? And so it's big spheres pulsating. Like if you imagine a rock being thrown in the water in the pond or in the ocean, it creates a ripple, right? Whereas this is like a sphere ripple going out from the earth. And so when we feel like the bottom drops out from underneath us and there's no earth underneath us anymore, what I personally feel that is like we're on this, say, a denser level of reality, of vibration, and we're all at different realities too, by the way, right? And so this current sphere, when there's a pulse in the universe or whatever's happening, I do feel like it's all interconnected, is that whatever astrological shift, and it creates all these different energies, it's like it like shifts out, and it's almost contradictory. It's almost like that denser layer goes smaller inside and this expands, and it's like you have like shifted from this dense layer to this higher layer, like you've come with the higher layer, for example. And so it feels like there's nothing here because this is either shrunk or it stayed there and this is expanded, and this whole new space in here, for example, is you getting like, okay, like that reality's just gone, that whole. And that could be coming from a relationship breakup, a career change, or just everything feels weird, like, and nothing's changed physically, right? You've come into that. And so this whole, what did you say? Like the bottom dropping out and the big shifts, you'll feel it as big shifts, but also this space in between, it's like you're finding your feet again, you're finding your grounding again. And this is why the self-care, energetic strengthening, like the activations that I have, there's a light body activation as well. If you haven't done that one, that's also free, but it's not in my pack. So comment light body if you would like to listen to that as well. That can help to activate the light frequency in your body, as well as in the Clear and Activate pack. There's the Meet Your Star Being Guide meditation. So that also activates like the light, but it is not that it just activates it, it's that you've already shifted. And so now you can recalibrate your physical body, your energy in your life to match that vibration and enable your physical body to hold that space without, you know, kind of just going, like it's just a bit of guidance to be able to hold that frequency, right? Okay, so just scanning through these comments, I want to talk about this shedding. Okay, cool. All right, so this shedding. So with everything I've shared, the biggest thing that I want to say is that not everybody, like, I don't want you to think that what I'm saying is the right way and the only way. I'm just giving you another different perspective of reality, of a consciousness that you can hold in your body, in your life, and allows you to get through the biggest awakening that humanity's ever seen without buying into the fear, without, you know, it's kind of like there's a space here where, you know, humanity is going through this transition or not. Some people are going to die. Some people are going to stay alive. That's just the cold, harsh reality of it. Any war that we've been through, people die, people stay alive. All the time, when there's not even anything going on in the world, people die and people stay alive. This is a death rebirth cycle, and it goes on. Sometimes it's influenced by people on the planet, which we don't really agree with what they're doing. Sometimes it's not. And so this perspective that I'm giving you is, I want to say, a take on the shedding that for as long as I've been conscious of this stuff, I've always had this take on it. Even before COVID, of course, right? And so the shedding aspect is probably going to bust a reality of consciousness for you, and you might not agree with it, and I'm not saying you have to, okay? But what I'm giving you is maybe a higher perspective, a level of consciousness that's going to hold you at a higher frequency to be able to also pull other people up, awaken other people, and be able to get through this war alive, okay? So I'm not doubting, and I'm not disregarding the feelings of the hurt and the pain of the people who have died and have lost loved ones or have gone through miscarriages. Please know that's not where I'm coming from with what I'm about to say. So before the shedding came into my awareness consciously in the past couple of weeks, so when I'm personally working on stuff, which is all the time, when I'm personally working on my womb, right, my sacral chakra, when I'm personally working on old relationship threads that I didn't know were still there, that I'm cleaning out, that come to consciousness, and I'm like, wow, that's still sitting there. Okay, let me sort that out. And I'll do whatever healing meditation protocol, cry, whatever comes up. Like it's all intuitive, right? It's always different, but it's always healing, working on something, because that's what we do as healers. As empaths, as conscious people, we should constantly be working on ourselves. Like it's a no-brainer. So anyway, so I've been working, it surfaced again, my last menstrual cycle, my last moon cycle. It was like another layer for me of the relationship from several years back had a huge impact on my life that I didn't know I was still holding grief from, that I still had, I want to say, feelings, emotions, attachments to, hurt, pain, whatever it is, like that relationship. It was very in my awareness again. I'm like, what the more? Okay, of course more, but wow. And so I was doing the work, I was grieving, okay, because in our sacral chakra, that's where we store grief, right? In our large intestine, sacral chakra is where we store grief. So if you do work on your sacral chakra, if you do work on cleaning out your gut or your bowel or anything like that, you're probably going to grieve, right? Because grief is stored there. Constipation, and I'm sure there's other things, is a symbol of stored grief in your bowel, right? So when we're doing detoxes or working on it or whatever, like that's going to shift out of your sacral chakra. Now also, our sacral chakra, whether you're a male or a female, is your womb. That is where you gestate your life purpose to birth it through your base chakra. Now, if your sacral chakra is full of old relationships that you haven't cleared out, it's going to be a bit murky in there to try and birth your purpose, for an example, right? So you know that your sacral chakra is just below your belly button and it's connected to your belly button, and it is like the portal of entry onto this planet, okay? Your belly button, right, is where the umbilical cord goes to your placenta, to your mum, right? Everybody's got that, right? Whether you're male or female, you have that. That is an entry point for a soul to enter onto this planet. Okay, I'm going pretty deep here. Stay with me. When a child is conceived, at some point, that is where the soul comes in, through the umbilical cord, that's the portal, okay? Now, when you're conscious that that's the portal to where souls come in, that's the portal to generational lineage, to all those things, right? It's kind of interesting to me, and I'm speaking in two parts here, okay, about the V and the shedding, and then a different perspective of the shedding. It's kind of interesting to me that people, doctors, whatever, have connected the vaccine, to this big wave of shedding. Now, it would be interesting to me, I don't know facts and figures, it would be interesting to me to know those people who are shedding. I think it's partly that it's around the people who are not have it are the ones who are shedding. However, I would be curious if the ones who are shedding, meaning big clots, if people aren't aware of what I'm talking about, it's the big clots coming out in menstrual cycles, miscarriages, all that sort of thing. And apparently it's from being around people who have had the vaccination, but they haven't been vaccinated themselves, if I'm understanding correctly. It would also be really interesting to me to, you know, and how would I ever know? I don't know. I'm just putting this on the table. It would be interesting to me to know that person who hasn't had it and is around the people who have had it, how long they have had it for. Yeah? Is it since January in that timeline starting to kick in? Is it because of the second one and it's got the magnets in it? Is it because, do you know what I mean? And when I say magnets, it's the nanotechnology, yeah? It's nanotech, in my intuitive understanding. So when we look at that aspect, right? I'm just going to leave that to the side for a moment. So when we look at the shedding, right? Last menstrual cycle, I don't know, nearly 2 weeks ago or something, I had big clots coming out again. And for me, when that comes out, I've just shifted something big out of my womb. That's not like, oh, I'm shedding. I don't even think, I think it was around that time I found out something, I don't know. But I was like, shedding? I'm like, man, I just did this big work on cleaning out another thread of my relationship, which was so deep. That relationship was so deep for me. You know, and so many things in my womb with that relationship and all sorts of, like, I won't go into it now, but they came out because I was consciously working on releasing that relationship. Now, I'm also out here. Am I around people who've had it? I don't know. When I go into town, is that enough to be affected by it? I don't know. How many people have had it in town? I don't know. Is it that the shedding, is it that people get affected by it even when they're out here, for example, because actually it's energetic and it actually doesn't matter if you're close in the vicinity or if you're out in the sticks? How would we actually ever really know, right? How would we actually ever really know about that? It's kind of interesting concept in itself, right? So when we look at shedding on that regard, how would we ever really know? Now, hey, maybe, and like I said, I'm not disregarding doctors' studies, and like, I'm definitely not disregarding that. And that stuff's probably actually real. The other thing that I shared in the Telegram group about the shedding as well is that I personally feel, and this is not a judgment, this is like a reality check, I personally feel that the people who are shedding, and hey, I don't actually really know this statistic, but my intuitive feel is that the people who are actually really shedding by being affected by it, like by the vaccine, is the people who are unconscious. And like I said, that sounds like a really judgmental thing to say, but just to try and explain what I'm talking about here, because I personally believe that our greatest power is our consciousness. I personally believe that our greatest strength is our consciousness. Our greatest protection is our connection to source. It's exactly what I was sharing before. No one can affect your energy or influence your energy unless you let them. Now that comes with practice. That comes with clearing out your heavy, dense traumas in your aura. That comes with, dedicated, routine, long-term personal development work on yourself. It takes stepping up and doing the work even when you're not doing the work, right? When you're off the mat, right? But if you can work on to connect and do the inner work, that's going to strengthen you. That is your protection, right? So I wanted to just share that perspective on the shedding, because for me personally, like for those of you who would like more support with clearing your sacral chakra, clearing every sexual partner that you've ever been with, if you haven't done that ritual of mine, that is a free ritual. It's in my Reality Awareness support group. So if you haven't watched that and done that, please comment womb below, womb, like W-O-M-B. I feel like I'm not talking properly this morning. Womb below. And if you're not in the Reality Awareness support group yet, my team will get you in there and get you watching that video. Be mindful that if you do that ritual, it's very powerful. If you haven't had a period for a little while, you're gonna probably bleed in a couple of days. Like it's more powerful than you realize, even if you don't do it properly. Like some people are like, I actually didn't go to the beach, but I just did it, and I'm like, yeah, it's really powerful. And it's really powerful at clearing generational wounding, trauma, all of that sort of thing. So that's a really powerful technique to use. And when the first time you use it, just be mindful that for 9 months, you might have stuff come out of your womb, whether you're still doing the ritual or not, because there's a 9-month healing cycle and there's, you know, a big kind of shedding that goes along with it. Energetically as well, you might grieve, you might cry, you might have exes contact you out of the blue. Like it's a big deal, okay? But I also want you to know that taking back your power like that, right, enables you to go, actually, no, I'm clearing out my womb, because also when you don't have all that other energetic crap and people and stuff in your womb space, sacral chakra, energetically, what's going to happen? Oh, your soul can come more in your body and anchor more in your body. That's going to enable you to hold more light. Why? Because your soul's there. No one else's, all the crap from your past is in there. You are. That's your power, right? So important. So let me just check these comments. Okay. So Kylie, is it Tanae? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Wow, didn't know that. Yes. So yeah, my reality awareness support group got a lot of free resources in there as well. And I'm just about to organize them over the weekend because there's so much in there that's just not organized, and I'm a Virgo and I need shit to be organized. So keep an eye out in there. So if you're not in the support group, like the womb, comment womb and we'll get you in there. Otherwise you can always find it on the, you know how there's a Facebook search bar and you can type in reality awareness support group and it can go, it'll take you there as well. Yeah, you've been having large intestine problems all your life. Yeah, so grieving, but that can also be, you know, I mean, it's always us. We've always got a level of it. Can be a generational pass down energetically, that you're carrying all that stuff energetically from the womb, you know, because like I said, it's the portal of entry. That's what I just wanted to say to finish that bit on the shedding bit there, is what it's also interesting to me is that if that is the case, that they have done that on purpose via the vaccine of the shedding, sorry, I was just got a message then. I don't know if Tamara's live or not, any of my team are live. This video will need to be downloaded as soon as they get off, which you usually do anyway, but just needing to say that right now. So, you know, if they've done that on purpose, because like, it's interesting to me that that's the portal to our earth for a soul to come in through the sacral chakra, yet they're creating all these issues and controlling the sacral, controlling the womb, controlling the portal entry. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me in that regard. You know what I mean? And I know there's more information coming through about that, but it's not clear to me yet, but I can feel it sitting there. And I feel like it's got something to do with the magnets or the nanotech as well. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to say that as well. Do heaps more work there. Yeah. The womb ritual is very powerful and it's really gonna support that. So Elena says, me too. Yeah. And so, and this might, I don't want to say it's too much information. It's not. If you're uncomfortable with blood, well, you need to get comfortable with it because we've made of it. But when a woman sheds, you know, whether it's clotting or just menstrual cycle, you know, if you see people in your blood as well, it is like, for me, it is like releasing people, but I also see goddesses in my blood. Like, it's, you know, it's all that. Your blood is so powerful. Being able to paint yourself with it, like, it's a very, very powerful ritual. Like, to get comfortable with your blood, you take your intuition and your psychic awareness to a whole nother level, let alone your sensual, comfortable self coming into your divine feminine power. Like, it's a real deep connection to be able to do that. When I say paint yourself, you do that in the shower, or you know, well, you don't have to, you can trust yourself and do whatever. When we return our blood to the earth as well, so a menstrual cup, when we return our blood to the earth, something shifts energetically with where you are, where you're living, your whole, the land and the environment. It's like you land, you claim the land, or it's not claiming the land, but we arrive, we're here, we're very connected to the land. Like, and there's a saying, you know, when all women return their blood to the earth, that is when humanity will awaken. So a little side note. Yeah, that explains your weird periods. Yeah, if you've done the ritual, I think you might have, I know you're in that, well, I assume you're in the group, Ricky. So yeah, I know that's been so huge for you, Alina, and like that's like coming out of you. It's like that vibration, you know, cannot stay in your body anymore, and it's all coming out. And this is Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Poo paws on my mouth. Don't know about that. I love their feet, but they're also poo paws, so I don't know. Terrible clots and plain. You work in sales for a lady's clothing store. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, is it the people around us that have got it? Is it not? Is it the environment that we're in? Is it the towers? Is it the chemtrails? Is it the whole freaking thing? Like, it's probably the whole thing, like, ultimately. But when we can take our power back and actually also go, you know what? I'm actually clearing generational stuff. I'm clearing everybody's energy out of my body, physically, metaphysically, oracally, whatever. Like, it takes our energy out of fear. It raises our consciousness, it raises our vibration, let alone the density that we're shifting out of our body. And that is where our ultimate power is. Like, you know, like, honestly, it is a powerful thing. So yeah, working with that ritual is very powerful. What helps you the most in shedding that relationship? Tears and lots of inner work. Definitely. Okay, Blossom says, I've been experiencing this. No cycle in January, February. Bled for 23 days starting in March, then stopped for 10 days. Had lunch with a friend who had the shot, started bleeding again. Yes, thank you for sharing this, Blossom. Then stopped for 4 days and started again a week later when I was around another person. Okay, and so what I really want to point out here is belief system, the strength of your will. My menstrual cycle, always on point. Always on, 28 days. Like, sometimes it shifts and I notice there's a shift either from the new moon to the full moon, and that really depends on what's going on in my life. Now, please know I'm not denying what's happening for you, but I really want to give that perspective of like, my cycle's always on time. It's always in tune with the moon. It's always, shifting me, healing me. I'm deeply connected to it. I'm very aware of when my hormones change, when they shift. So a couple of things there. That's also a belief system that I've created. Whether I journal, I don't think I've ever really journaled on it because it's just so strong for me. My cycle's always on time. I'm deeply connected to my blood. I'm, like I've painted myself in the bath, warrior style with my blood. Like I return my blood to the earth. I'm deeply connected to it. So if you're not that connected to your blood, deeply start connecting with it. Clear out your womb, not once, not twice, but deeply work on it for 9 months. Reconnect to your portal of entry to this earth, which is your stomach, which is your sacral chakra, which is your womb, which is where the umbilical cord was. Do a meditation to reconnect, which is actually the healing womb meditation. So when you do my clearing ritual, there's also a follow-up meditation. So it's in that group. So make sure you get both. There's kind of 2 parts to it, right? And the healing womb meditation takes you through that reconnection through to that. Because if you're disconnected from the lower part of your body, you're going to be more affected by this external energy. Does that make sense? So I would really work on connecting with your blood, connecting with your menstrual cycle, getting comfortable with it. Like when you see your blood, like do you go, oh yuck, like, or are you like, okay, like I'm deeply in this moon phase and I'm taking care of myself and I'm not answering calls, or like, like how do you even feel about yourself bleeding? Are you supported by the people around you or not? Are you disconnected from it? Are you being influenced by other energies, or you're like, nobody can affect me. I'm control of my body. I'm deeply cycles of my menstrual cycle. Like I'm deeply attuned to the moon. I'm deeply connected to my womb and to all that's happening and shedding from me and what I am nourishing myself with, which is the core of the sacral chakra, is about being nourished. So like I said, I'm not denying your reality about that, definitely not. But what I would definitely be doing is strengthening your connection to your moon cycle, to your menstrual cycle, same thing, to your womb, to your stomach, to how you're nourished, to any grief that's held in there, to generational clearing through your womb, through your sacral chakra, because it is the portal of entry. I'd be deeply like, I want to say playing with your blood in a sense of like, even in the shower or whatever's comfortable for you. I'm not saying you have to paint yourself or get a menstrual cup, but it is very, very powerful to take yourself to the next level with that depth of connection with yourself, yeah? Because it will strengthen your intuition. It will strengthen that deep sense of solidarity of self. This is me being connected to the earth cycles, to the rhythms of the cycles of the earth, of all the things, yeah? So, yeah. Okay. All right, just checking these comments here. Okay, Annie says, I hear fear. I've decided to not let the fear rule my life, back to my intuition and what's right for me. Yes, say yes to my power. Exactly right. My periods are heavy as, I wonder if it's related. Yeah, so all of that, you know, like I said, like if I was in a dense city environment, you know, I would have to work harder at my energy, I would imagine. Like I struggled in my old place. The last 2 years I was there, I knew it was time to get out, wanted to get out, etc. Found this beautiful, amazing place. And I just know that if I visit a city, if I, you know, drive to the Gold Coast or whatever and hang out or spend time there, like it is a recalibration for me and my energy. And I want to say I get affected by it. I'm more conscious of the difference between being out here and going into there. It's not that I hate it. It's not that I don't like it, because I freaking love going shopping and I love all that stuff, right? However, for like, you know, the majority of the time I prefer to be in an environment like this, right? So it's not that I don't have to work as hard, because whether I'm connecting with you online or in the city, there's no difference, right? Definitely. But it's just being conscious of the environment that you place yourself in with that sort of thing, right? So yeah, just search the group. It is in the announcement section, actually, if you want to find it straight away. So yeah, let me just check there. Yes, is the womb video going to work if you've had it removed? Yes, because energetically your womb is still there. Remember, it's all energy and it doesn't disappear, right? Tani, is that how you pronounce it? Thank you. Kylie says, oh my God, I did work in that area and my ex randomly rang that same day. I told you guys, this stuff's powerful, right? It works. Like we don't realize subconsciously and unconsciously how many people are in our energy, let alone sexual partners we've been with. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a big deal. April says the womb one is awesome. Dawn, is that Dawn? She's got a butterfly or something. Jazz, go and see what she's doing. What's she got? Oh my goodness, she's going under the house. Is it Dawn? It was Dawn. So I wasn't planning to hit her. I knew it wouldn't hit her, but I knew that it would move her. I wasn't planning on hitting her. That wasn't why I was throwing it. I knew it would move her, that's all. Anyway, sorry guys. Okay, so April says, the womb one is awesome. I know someone who just had a miscarriage. How would you get them the meditation for cleansing in a proper way? I don't know the person super well. I would be nervous to suggest that to somebody. Unless they are like super spiritual, go to yoga every day. No, not that rigid. Like if they're conscious and they're constantly doing the work and they're pretty freaking onto it, I would be like, yeah, sure. But if they just had a miscarriage and they're like not really into the spiritual work, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend crying. I would recommend saying, hey, do you need me to be there for you? Do you need me to cook a meal? Like that would be more supportive than them cleaning out their womb right now. Like I just wouldn't. Yeah, you need to be quite mindful of that. If they have come to you and they're like, I need spiritual help in whatever way they ask, then I'd be like, sure, right? But I wouldn't be suggesting something like that. So yeah. Yes, are you a Virgo too? Hello, fellow Virgo. Can you do the womb cleansing with and that word? I'm not going to say it on the Intuitive Healing Tuesdays. It kept stumbling me. I know I can say it, but when I'm trying to I'm like on show here. So that word, and endometriosis, I think I nearly said it. I have a friend who had multiple miscarriages and I think this would be good for her. I highly recommend it for that, definitely. Again, same with what I just suggested then for that other person, only if they're open to it, only if they're willing to do spiritual work, because if they're not really conscious, it's actually almost more detrimental to people unless they're really willing to come to a healer and do the work themselves. Like, of course they're doing it themselves, but you know, like again, you got to be mindful about things because it is deep, big work. And so if someone's never done a meditation before and they're not really open to spiritual stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend the chakra clearing meditation and getting them used to energy like that, because having a distance healing or seeing a healer or anything like that, can create a huge fallout where some people can end up in hospital. Okay, so, and I'm not saying you have to be scared of who you mention stuff to. Like, if people come to you and ask you, like, yeah, share everything with them in a way. But you know, if you're suggesting something to someone because you know it would help them too, but they're not really into spiritual work, the thing you want to be suggesting is the chakra clearing. Yeah, even though you're like, oh, they need womb healing, oh, they need all this stuff, you might know that, but if they're not at that level yet, just start them easy. Start them at the chakra clearing, because they may not even be open to it. Or maybe they are, but you want to start them with something like that, because it gets them used to the energy, gets them used to being like feeling energy, even because unconscious people that are just waking up, it's a big deal, right? So yeah, but definitely, like, if they're open to it, like, highly recommend for the miscarriages and stuff, and clearing out, you know, other partners. Or the other thing with miscarriages, and there's so much that I could talk about here, but I just want to say, sometimes with a miscarriage, this is not always, but it's definitely a piece too that is always good to look at. With a miscarriage, if somebody's in a relationship right now and they're trying to fall pregnant or have a baby or whatever like that, and maybe they're even married to this person, they have been for a long time, and now they decide to have children, or whatever the story is, if the woman has not let go of a previous partner that was like the love of her life, and she thought she was going to be with him, and then she like moved on and finally got over it, and got over it to an extent, and you know, found the love of her life again, got married and stuff, but she hasn't actually grieved that relationship properly, or she hasn't actually let go, which is grieving. Ultimately, there's so much we could do, but grieving is big. This woman is not going to conceive to this man because this man's still in there. Does that make sense? Just wanted to add that in. Like I said, there's so much that I could talk about with that, but that's a big piece. So Leanne says, what if you don't have much? Do you mean much blood? Like on your cycle? So Kylie says, wow, I will do that. Yes. Hi, Amanda. Yeah, that's interesting. Is it Delana? So usually they last 3 or 4 days, and they lasted 8 days, this next one. So same thing again. And this is where I'm saying, like, the biggest form of protection is us being so conscious and connected to our body and doing all this sort of inner work. So I would be, because you obviously know that she's had it as well, I would be extra working on strengthening your energy. Yoga is really powerful, and of course there's lots of other Tai Chi or other like quantum flow stuff, like, that's really powerful in like building that energetic aura, building your energy and doing all that. So like, I'd be so, like, I want to say anal about, you know, like, your spiritual practices, especially living with someone like that, because, you know, as I said, like, going into a city, I'm going to have to work harder on my energy, so to speak, or be more conscious of it, so that I'm not as bombarded by that sort of stuff. Whereas out here, I'm still, like I said, it's online, there's no difference, but, you know, I'd definitely be like anal about it, especially for a period of time, to strengthen your energy, to strengthen your aura, all that jazz. Yeah. Okay. We as a whole are clearing ancestral trauma, past lives. Yes, 100%. That's what this whole con job stuff is about. Yes, exactly. I shift from full moon to new moon too. Yes, same. Yeah, they do change with the moon cycles. Definitely do this. Yes, you're so welcome. Yeah, shifted to new moon. Yes, I know I have to change my thoughts. Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's big stuff there. So I think that bleeding got to do with the vaccines. Yes. But again, it's a belief system. It's, if you're seeing that all the time, like, if you're not conscious of, I want to say, protecting yourself from it, in a sense of like choosing your reality over what you're being shown, right? It's the same thing as anything. Trust intuition. It's the same thing. I don't subscribe to that, as my mentor would say. I unsubscribe from that belief system and done. Simple as clicking a button, right? So Blossom says, my cycle's always been normal. I thought maybe it was starting perimenopause, and I started bleeding again, didn't stop. Thought it was resetting my womb. Then started seeing videos, other women. Yes. Yes, yeah. And so because you've done massive wound and energy clearing, I'd now be focusing on strengthening your connection to your womb, allowing your higher self, your soul, to be anchored through into your base chakra via connected obviously into your sacral chakra, like that energetic line, that portal through your crown. It's like a solid pole, like, you know, through the center of your spine that goes down, and all your chakras are in that. So a bit like your spine, right? But you've got this energetic, there's a word for it, but I've always seen it and I call it the power pole. And the solar plexus is like the power pole that goes through your body. And it's like, it's where all the chakras, I guess, have anchored onto in a way, right? And so you'd want to be strengthening that. You'd want to be strengthening your chakra system. You want to be allowing your soul to come into your body and consciously telling your soul to, I want to say consciously telling your soul to override your body, in a sense of being that connected that nothing outside of it can influence it. So I know you've been in reality awareness a bit and done a lot of work, so now it's about strengthening that, is what I'd really be focusing on. And your belief systems around, I'm affected by other people. No, I'm sorry, but I am strong. Nothing outside of me affects me. I'm the one who controls my body. I am in the one, you know, and speak to your womb, speak to your womb, speak to your menstrual cycle. It's a relationship, just like our third eye, just like our intuition. Speak to it and connect with it, build that relationship with it, right? Okay. Oh, thanks, Amanda. Okay, just checking. Yeah, I've learned so much in this live. I work in the city and I feel the different energies. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to just strengthen your energies. Like, you know, especially if you're living in that sort of an environment, you must be you know, more dedicated. I said anal before. Rigid. You should be like obsessively compulsively you know, obsessed with your energetic routine, strengthening routine, your clearing routine, like as much as you brush your teeth and your shower and all that sort of thing. Like it must be that rigid at the moment, especially if you're in that. It's the only thing, so it's the only thing that's going to get you through. Like it's a big part of it, right? Yeah, so huge, Blossom and Alina, really hearing you there. So yeah, strengthening is you need to be anal about it. You need to be really rigid. You need to be really disciplined. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh my goodness. And we're going into discipline next month for the 12 Divine Steps to Awakening Your Life Purpose. We're up to discipline next month. We just did Unity. Actually, the replay is in the Reality Awareness support group as well. So that's in there too. Looks like a bunny. Oh, so funny when they bolt up and they run up the tree and then they come back, and it's so funny. So I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Gayan? So if ex-partners call you, are you answering or ignoring their call? I'm going to leave that up to you and trust your intuition with that one. Yeah, every situation would be different. That's so interesting, Kylie. So the 3 miscarriages and stuff. So I don't know how old you are or anything like that, but I actually spoke deeply about this on the Intuitive Healing Tuesdays, one of them that I did, and they're in the replay in the support group as well. So I'm going to organize all that today, or over the weekend. And those replays will be there under guides. So in the Reality Awareness support group, there's like, you know, the main feed, then there's announcements, there's called guides, like, you know, like a guide book, like a guide, guides, and I can organize all videos and meditations and stuff in there. And there's some already in there, but there's so much more that needs to go in there because there's so much in that group. So I'm going to organize all that this weekend. And on when I was doing Intuitive Healing Tuesdays in there, I spoke deeply about there and went into the metaphysics of endometriosis. Oh my goodness. She was the one that helped me pronounce it. And anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to try. I don't know why I get stuck on it. And I went into the metaphysics and everything on healing and stuff for it. So I highly recommend watching that, but I will find it and it's in there somewhere. Because yeah, like I said, you can heal anything. It's the belief systems and the work you're willing to do, etc., etc. So yes. Yes, you're a warrior survivor. Yes. Abortion, womb clearing. Yes. Makes total sense. Yes, blood on a cycle. So for me, I go through times depending on what I'm working on myself as well. you know, where sometimes it's really heavy. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense with what I've been working on this last cycle, right? Sometimes it's really light. And especially, you know, I know you're working with the liver and the liver cleanse, like that can affect your cycle too, because the liver is one of the, I don't know, actually, is it one of the main producers that produce your blood? I don't know that that's the right thing. A lot of our blood gets filtered through there. So yeah, there's lots of things that can affect that. So I wouldn't be worried about it unless you're intuitively worried about it, then I'd get it checked out for sure. But always check what you've been working on metaphysically, because it's definitely a piece of that. Yeah, awesome, April. Do chakra cleansing, try womb cleansing, but don't necessarily give up hope. My friend finally did have a miracle baby after 4 miscarriages. Exactly what I believe. I wouldn't give up on it. Just do the work, do the energetic work, because yeah, if all the physical stuff isn't been working, it's time to do the metaphysical stuff, especially if you haven't yet. So yeah. Yes, the womb meditation again, consistency is key. That's right. Yep. 42 this year. Yeah, definitely check that out. Oh, thank you, April. Endometriosis. I'll remember it now because you've said tree. Endometriosis. Thank you. Thank you. See, I knew that it got spelled out, but not the tree bit. It's always light. Yeah, so I wouldn't judge that, you know, and, you know, if you're doing, you know, one day it might become deep, it might become a lot, but I wouldn't judge it, but I definitely build a relationship with it and talk to it, talk to your womb. Yeah. Using it to do things as it's so light. Yeah, so I guess I wouldn't judge yourself for that, but I would speak to it, and, you know, and build a relationship with it. What do you want me to know? Are there messages here? Is there, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, is there something I can do to support you? Like all of that, but I wouldn't judge it. Yeah. So I know you were on the Trust Intuition Hot Seat Mentoring yesterday, Leanne, and I just want to say to you, the message that just came through, I'm like, I would be doing a shadow meditation on the judge, because I know we spoke about the judge yesterday. So I'd be working on the judge, because there's a lot of judging yourself going on. Well, I can feel it energetically, if that makes sense. So yeah, lots of gut issues lately. So yeah, so awesome. You guys are so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me live. If you need support, obviously the support group's there. You can post in that group with any questions as well. If you want to work one-on-one with me, send me a message. The Life Purpose Accelerator only has 1 more week to go before doors close. This is the highest level mentoring that you can work with me. You get access to all my content, all my courses. There's quantum portal sessions in there. We've got the phone calls are unlimited in between support, and this is where you can really shift your life and obviously accelerate your life purpose. So send me a message, or the link is in the title of this live stream as well, or you can email me at support@realityawareness.com and my team will get that forward to me, or send me a message on Facebook, and I shall see you really soon. Love you guys so much. Bye.